scritto nel tuo cuore.
Mi piace. Tu non mi piaci.
We're for kitchens made to impress.
Welcome to the weekly documentary of strategic management. As you can already guess from the foreshown advertisement, the following documentary deals with the multinational company Ikea, which designs and sells ready-to-assemble furniture, appliances and home accessories. Ikea was founded in 1943 by the then 17-year-old Ingvar Kamprad as a mostly mail-order sales business. It commenced selling furniture locally manufactured 5 years later. 1951, the renowned Ikea catalog was published, and in 1958, the first mobile Ikea store was opened in Elmhult. Today, Germany, with 44 stores, is Ikea's biggest market, and it alone contributes 4.12 billion euro to Ikea's worldwide revenue. As of December 2014, Ikea generated a total revenue of 29.3 billion euros and accomplished a net income of 3.3 billion euros. It operates 351 stores in 46 countries, and more than 750 million people visited an Ikea store in 2014. Overall, Ikea is highly celebrated for its tasteful, fashionable, cleverly designed and inexpensive products that don't make the customer feel cheap. Especially the unique shopping experience at Ikea stores is frequently referred to as immensely appealing by customers. Now we have provided you with a first glimpse of Ikea globally. However, this documentary is concentrating on Ikea's strategy for Asia and the challenges it faced during their time operating in e.g. Japan or Singapore. Therefore, our expert Alan is now going to continue and provide you with an elaborate insight into Ikea's early advance into Asia.
It was 1974, and after the relatively successful entries to 5 European countries, Ikea considered that it was time to enter other very promising markets. During Ikea's expansion to other continents, Japan was the first country in Asia that Ikea considered to enter in 1970s. On paper, this looked like the perfect market to enter, as Japan had experienced a strong economic growth after the Second World War and turned from a less developed country into the second largest market in the world. Ikea entered the Japanese markets in 1974 with a local partner, but failed to win over Japanese consumers and was forced to pull out in 1986. When looking back at the days, the reasons for the failure were clear. Ikea's standardized philosophy of entering new markets was just not suitable for Japan at that time. Japan was not ready to embrace the strong Swedish identity within its stores, in its corporate culture, HR policies and practices. For instance, Swedish type of management embraces low hierarchical barriers, whereas the Japanese ones are used to much higher hierarchical differences. Thus, after a 12-year span, Ikea decided to pull out from the market. After a 25-year break from the unsuccessful entry, Ikea decided that it was time to re-enter Japan in 2002. By the time of the second entry, Ikea had already gained a strong presence in the most important markets of the world. The time was now perfect, as Japanese lifestyle preferences had experienced a strong shift, thus increasing the demand for lifestyle-related products and services. Also, Ikea had learned from their previous mistakes and were much more aware of the cultural differences, and this time they were actually prepared to enter the Japanese market. In 2006, Ikea opened its first megastore in Tokyo, Funabashi, and at this time they have 8 stores all over Japan. Ikea has actively been expanding in Japan and has now announced its plan to have 14 stores by 2020. After 2020, Ikea wants to have more stores and launch an e-commerce business as well to be able to offer items at even affordable prices.
story of IKEA China is that of continuous adaptation to local environment with bumps and hiccups over the past 17 years. IKEA China opened its first store in Shanghai in 1998 and now has 27 stores nationwide. Upon initial entry, it became clear IKEA was facing three distinct challenges: pricing, branding, and imitators. IKEA's prices, considered low in the West, were higher than the average in China, and the heavy import duty did not help. To remedy the issue, IKEA built factories in China to increase local sourcing of materials, and over the 13 years, it has cut prices by more than 60%. IKEA's global branding that promises low prices created confusion in China, as Western products are seen as aspirational. IKEA therefore undertook massive change in strategy and projected itself as an aspirational Western brand targeting middle-class population. In addition, IKEA China is treated like a furniture-filled theme park where people come to shop, eat, and relax the whole day. This was achieved by building super-sized outlets with extra-wide aisles and larger warehouses. Customer traffic is 40% higher than in other countries and totaled 45 million visitors in 2013. This is 11 Furniture, the biggest IKEA imitator. Luckily, the local imitators simply do not have the floor space or the variety of items as those of IKEA. IKEA has the space and the capital to allow it to relax its policy on almost everything, and this laissez-faire attitude helped IKEA achieve success in China. Through the experience, IKEA learned that global brands may not be able to replicate their success using a low-price strategy in Asia. Instead of dealing with imitators at the court, IKEA instead invested in size and branding that eventually won over the local competitors. It plans to open 40 stores in China by 2020, mainly expanding into second-tier cities like Xi'an and Qingdao.
IKEA entered into Singapore market in 1978. Since then, the company has been a cost leader in the home furnishing market. To hold on to this position, IKEA is forced to make its internal production as efficient as possible. The suppliers of IKEA Singapore are usually situated in China. This enables them to easily access the raw materials needed for production and to reach to a mass distribution network. IKEA has benefited a lot from the economies of scale. Products are often purchased and shipped in large quantities. As a result, IKEA is able to enjoy on average a 5 to 10% discount rate from its suppliers.
IKEA Singapore's success is based on a relatively simple idea of minimizing the costs incurred between manufacturers and customers. Although IKEA Singapore doesn't have its own manufacturing facilities, the company uses subcontract manufacturers from all over the world for supplies. On top of that, in order to maintain low costs, the IKEA's customers sometimes have to assemble the bought product themselves. This innovative concept has become a large cost saver for consumers. IKEA's cost leadership strategy has differentiated itself from other competitors in Singapore.
The previous examples showing some kinds of strategies in Asian markets like China and Singapore, IKEA should adapt a set of different strategies when entering into a new market. In order to increase its market share, it is better for IKEA to emphasize on a pull marketing strategy by launching advertising campaigns that promote furniture as a fashion statement. By doing so, more customers will be attracted to buy the products in IKEA. And as Asia is considered as an emerging market and has largest consumer base with more than 3 billion populations, IKEA may choose to build more stores targeting at customers in emerging markets. It is recommended that IKEA should differentiate itself from other competitors by having a strong competitive advantage. They may develop a website which can allow customers to design their own furniture with the dimensions and colors they need.
Also, it is possible for Ikea to offer customization services just like what Dell did, and this will provide them with a larger market segment. Overall, IKEA is known for their stylish and affordable furniture retail business. To sustain in this position, IKEA may want to upgrade its products continually based on customers' preference and taste. In conclusion, IKEA is a well-known global brand with hundreds of stores across the world. In order to improve business strategy, it is necessary to consistently assess the external market. Through this, IKEA is able to generate a strong growth in order to retain a strong identity in the market, and we think IKEA will still have its strong presence as a market leader in this furniture market.